Hello, and good morning, and welcome to this reflection for the 13th Sunday of Ordinary Time. For today's Gospel, we continue to read the Gospel of St. Mark. Last Sunday, we heard about how Jesus calmed the storm, the first of the four miracles that Jesus performs in the vicinity of the Sea of Galilee. Each of these miracle stories offers us a glimpse of Jesus' power and his presence. Today, the Gospel story reports of two stories of healing. One story tells about a father's great love for his dying daughter. The other tells us about a desperate woman who risks much as she seeks healing from Jesus. In each story, the request for healing is itself a courageous act of faith. And yet, very different circumstances are represented by the lives of each suffering person. For both, the condition of their healing was faith. As Jesus said to the marginalised and despised woman, "My daughter, your faith has restored you to health. Go in peace and be free of your complaint." To Jairus, the young girl's father, the embodiment of the establishment, Jesus said, "Do not be afraid, only have faith." We need somehow to find a balance between naively giving trust and fearfully withholding trust. If we won't trust, we won't commit. If we won't commit, we can never mature and become whole. I find Jesus' comment to the synagogue official quite relevant. Do not be afraid, only have faith. We fear surrender in faith and trust. It takes courage to do so. It also takes wisdom and sense of whom we can trust. Both courage and wisdom are hard to cultivate, but if we don't cultivate them, it will never become whole. We will never really surrender, even to God. If I can touch even his clothes, she told herself, I shall be well again. So said the woman with the haemorrhage. This particular story brings back memories of our summer camp. I want to recount to you something that happens each year at our summer camp with our young people. Using this particular miracle story as a basis, we bring the young people into the presence of Jesus in a very special way. Just like at Lourdes, we take the Blessed Sacrament in the monstrance on a walk around the gathering of the big tent among over 100 youngsters. The priest walked around and he stopped in front of every person for a few seconds to invite them to touch the hem of his humeral veil, the garment which the priest wears when carrying the Blessed Sacrament, and to stand and sit or kneel and adore the Lord, standing in front of them for that very personal moment with Jesus. This process takes a long time to do, and it was very moving to see the reactions of the young people, some of whom were not baptized or not fully formed in their faith. By their reactions, you could see their reverence and their deep faith in a very tangible way. A number of these youngsters come from severely disadvantaged backgrounds, with much pain and suffering in their lives. The peace and the joy which was reflected in their whole being was clearly visible to everyone who was watching. One family of 4 children, aged 12 to 18, embraced each other in pure love before the presence of Jesus. And it was touching to see the older sibling visibly moved, being comforted by his younger brother. One young lad appeared to be fiddling with his phone and acting in a very disrespectful way before Jesus, until we realised the reason he was fiddling with his phone. He was searching for pictures for his mum so that she too could be in the presence of the Lord with him. He held his phone before Jesus in the monstrance as he held the humeral veil tightly in his hand, adoring the Lord. The priest who was carrying Jesus in the monstrance was physically and emotionally drained at the end of these proceedings, and all he could do was fall on his knees in thanksgiving as he replaced the monstrance on the altar. He commented afterwards how he seemed to carry the burdens of these young people with him on the road, as Jesus carried those burdens of these two people in the miracles we heard about. He was moved to tears. It was a simple gesture to invite everyone to place their trust in the Lord. He will certainly touch our hearts and our minds in a very personal way if we but open ourselves to faith in the real presence of Jesus. We may feel unworthy to be in his presence, but this should be no barrier to the Lord. During lockdown, for over 18 months now, many of us have been deprived of the physical presence of the Lord in the Blessed Sacrament. We've had to resort to meeting him virtually on a computer screen, but he is still present. As we come out of lockdown, now is the time to begin to renew that relationship with Jesus by our physical presence at Mass and in adoration before the Blessed Sacrament. Let us bring before him all that needs healing in our lives, just as the two people in today's Gospel did. Let us give him thanks for delivering us from the plague of this pandemic. It has caused us much pain. There is much suffering still going on in the world. Let us sit or kneel at the feet of Jesus and place our trust in him to deliver us safely from the effects of this dreadful virus, mentally, physically, and economically. God bless you.